welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning, budgeting, paying off debt, and retiring early. So if those are topics that you are also interested in, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. And in fact, things are about to get really interesting. So I would really, like, if you're into budgeting, seriously, you should subscribe. Okay. First of all, I'm going to go over all the tools I'll be using today because I always get asked. So I found that it's best just to say it all up front. First of all, I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I have a link to her website down below. I am using a notebook from Plum Paper. I have a link to their site down below, as well as I explain how you can get 10% off your first order with them. And then I'm going to be using these category stickers from my friend Cara Jo Plans, and I have a link to her Etsy shop as well as a discount code for her Etsy shop. And then I am using a couple of things from Amazon, and I do have an Amazon storefront. First of all of the highlighters I use to prep for today's video are these. They are by Sharpie and they are retractable. So you can find those in my Amazon storefront, which is linked below, as well as this erasable pen from Pilot called Friction. Okay, so we are going to start today by looking at my expense sheet for this past week. I've recently changed the way I'm doing my budget, so instead of doing it budget by paycheck, I'm actually going to be doing a budget week to week from now on. So I am tracking my expenses 1 week at a time. So here is last week. And instead of just going over this list with you, I add the stickers to the calendar. I just think that's more interesting for you guys. But here is the total summary of all of these payments by category, which is going to come in handy when we move over to the notebook. So let's take a look at the calendar. So I have not calculated my total numbers for this week. I like to do that with you in person so you can get an authentic reaction to how I feel about things. But last week was looking pretty bad. We ended, here I'll show you. I think we were in the negative. I know we were in the negatives. How far negative were we? We ended with a negative amount of $173. So I was a little bit worried, but let's take a look at this week. I know that David and I, even though I don't know the final numbers, I know that David and I tried really hard to either stay on budget or below budget this week. So let's see how it went. Let's start with the bills. We had a payment to our city, which is water and something else. I can't remember. It's not gas because that's a separate company, but it's water and some kind of power. And that came to $326. Now that's a little bit above budget because we normally budget $300 for that. My other bill was to my energy company. Now this is only for gas, and it was $84 this week, which is, I don't know why. Both of these were above what they normally are. I don't know why that is. We actually only budget $30 a month for energy, so that's quite a bit above budget. But don't worry, stay tuned. We have some below budget categories coming up. Okay, let's take a look at debt. We had our van payment come out this week for $445, which is exactly what we budgeted for. We had a student loan payment of $270 come out, and that was exactly what we budgeted for. And we had a payment to loan number 2 for $566, which was exactly what we had budgeted for. So luckily, all of our debt payments were exactly what we budgeted. The bills were only a little bit variable. Well, this time they were kind of a lot variable, $76 worth of difference than what we budgeted. Okay, let's move on to food. Now this is our Achilles tendon. This is the one that normally gets us. And we budget $150 a week for food, and we did so good this week, you guys. Let's look at how much we spent on food this week. First of all, I had a quick trip to Aldi for $2. I hadn't really been to Aldi's in years, actually. And when I went in, I picked up what I needed, and it only cost $2, and it was actually a little bit less than $2, but I round up. I decided this is where I should be shopping because that was just crazy. What I got a bag of chips, And I think last week I said I got a bag of chips and salsa. It was actually a bag of chips and sour cream. Now at Fairway, I would expect to pay $6 to $7 for those 2 items total together. And here it was only $2. So anyways, I was just blown away. So that was our first food expense. The next one was, we got a few things that we like to get at Sam's, that we like to buy in bulk. Like we buy eggs and chicken there and cheese. Those are the things we like to buy in bulk. And then we have house stuff we like to get there too. But this week we only had food from Sam's, and then we spent $36. And then I did have a purchase at Fairway. So even though I want to shop at Aldi's, Logan, as many of you know, he is going through some health things right now. Logan is my 10-year-old son, and he's on a new medication, and it just made him so nauseous, and he kept throwing up. So anyways, he ended up missing 3 days of school, and I just thought for myself it would be easier just to stop by my normal stomping grounds and get exactly what I needed where it was and all that. But I was very conscious of how much I was spending, and I only spent $45. And I normally budget $100 for Fairway. So that is really good. Now let's look at the rest of the categories. So gas. We got gas on the 22nd. We spent $35 on gas, and we budgeted $40. So again, we were below budget. Miscellaneous, we did not have any miscellaneous expenses this month. Medical, there was nothing. I'm sorry, this month, I should say this week. This week there was no miscellaneous, there was no medical, there was no house, there was no sinking funds cash envelopes. So we did awesome, just awesome. Okay, let's move over to the notebook and see how this all works out. So I decided I am not using this tool to the best of its ability. What I really need to be using this tool for is to track just my variable expenses, not my fixed expenses. So not my bills, not my debt, not my sinking funds and cash envelopes. Those are all fixed. What I want to track is my variable expenses so that I can see where things aren't working, where things are breaking down, where I need to make changes. I actually have control over these numbers where I don't have control over bills, debt, and sinking funds. So from now on going forward, when I do my weekly check-ins, I'm only going to be checking in on my variable expenses. So today we're going to check in on food, gas, miscellaneous, medical, and house. So this first category is my budget category. Then we have the actual amount spent and the difference. And since we are doing 1 week at a time, I'm not worried about what happened last week. I'm just looking at how we did with our budget for this week. Okay, and I just wanted to remind you, in my expense tracker, I add up all of these totals down here in a little key so that when I come over to the notebook, I have all the numbers I need. Now this is just going to be off to the side, so you're not going to see those numbers, but I will write them here. So let's start with food. We budgeted $150 for food, and all together we spent $83. So 150 minus 83 is $67. So we ended with a positive amount of $67. Woohoo! Okay, gas. We budgeted $40 and we only spent $35. So again, we are in the positive and we are positive $5. Miscellaneous, we budgeted $25, but we didn't spend anything. So we are positive $25. Medical, we budgeted $25, we didn't spend anything, so we are positive $25. House, we budgeted $50, we didn't spend anything, so we are positive $50. Okay, so I'm just going to add these 3 columns together and see if it all worked out. Okay, so we budgeted $290, we spent $118, so $290 minus $118 is $172. I'm now going to add these together to see if they do actually equal $172. So we have 67 plus 5 plus 25 plus 25 plus 50. 172. So we are positive 172 on our variable expenses for this week. So let's head over back to the Budget Mom worksheet and let's close out this week and close out the month of March. So I can't remember if I already told you, but this week here, we do have a few more days of March left. I'm going to count this as part of my April budget. That's why I can go ahead and close out March today. So let's take a look at how we did in each category. This is the exciting part. This is the part I haven't done yet. So let's see how it all worked out. Okay, so let's start up here with income. First of all, from last week, we had a negative amount of $173. That was our actual negative amount. And we had a payday of $3,300, and that was the same. So our budgeted and our actual were the same. So $3,127. Oops. So $3,127 was our starting point. So when we come down here, I'm going to add all of my bills together and write what the total was. The budget amount was $1,611. Let's see how much we actually spent. I know that my two bills were higher than we budgeted for. So let's see how that affected us. So $1,691. So that was a difference of $80. So we were short $80 in this budget category of bills. So $31.27 minus $16.91. That is $14.36. So we started with $31.27, we spent $16.91, which is a difference of $14.36. So I'm going to bring that total down here to the next category, which are our cash envelopes. Sinking funds are up at the top. For me, the difference between cash envelopes and sinking funds, I think of sinking funds as savings, and cash envelopes is money that actually is going to get spent that week. Okay, so $14.36. So first I'm going to add up how much it actually came to. We had budgeted $415, but I know we didn't spend that much. So let's see how much we actually spent. So we actually spent $243, which is excellent. That's really good for us because we usually go over in this category. So we had $14.36 and we're going to take away $243. That's $11.93. Okay, so we're going to go up to the sinking funds. First, I'm going to bring this new total up here, so $11.93. Our sinking funds were $240. That's what we budgeted for. So $11.93 minus $240. That brings us to $953. Okay, so I am going to come down here. We do have this extra debt category and we are focusing on paying off debt right now. We have a debt snowball going on, but I'm going to be setting, I am going to be making some major changes to my budget later this weekend. And so what I'm going to do right now is the total that I have left over, which is $953. I am going to roll that over to next month instead of putting that towards our debt snowball. I'm going to roll it over so that gives me a little bit of space to work with as I'm setting up my new budget and getting all the new stuff set up. So I just need a little bit of a safety net this week to help me get everything organized. So we are rolling over or saving $953, which brings our total budget down to zero, which is always my goal. I do a zero-based budget. Okay, so this is excellent. Last week we were negative $173, and this week we're ending with a positive $953, which is so exciting. And things are only going to get better because we are going to be trying the bare bones budget. Here, I'll show you. We are going to try this bare bones budget worksheet from the Budget Mom, and we are going to go bare bones for 1 month to see how it goes. I'm going to be setting this up with you guys tomorrow. So if you'd like to see our bare bones budget and how we're going to do it, then come back tomorrow and watch that video with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.